Well, hello, my beautiful Cancerians. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Now let's move straight on with your reading. And the frequencies of the earth, I want you to be aware, are changing at this present time. You can all feel it, of course, and it means that the Tibetan symbols that I normally use may not be as palatable to the ear as they used to be, because we become more aware and sensitive to vibrations around us. So I sourced a softer frequency to prepare and cleanse your reading. I'm using Gaia chimes to cleanse hourly, so please be mindful and turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Cancerians, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask, how are you doing? So this reading is going to tap into what's going on with you right now, how you're moving through this time period, and of course, what lies on the other side. So let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Cancerians? What do they need to know at this time? Can you please show them the way? What are they going through at this moment? What lies on the other side of whatever it is that they're going through? Now, I do want you to be aware, my beautiful Cancerians, when I went to light the candle earlier, the match, it broke. So a lot of you could be feeling exhausted or broken or in search of inspiration at this time, trying to really reignite that spark. Sometimes I see the energy of how the candle lights as an indication of what someone's going through. You know, everything I do is part of a process as I tap into energy. So some of you could be feeling completely drained, or maybe even feeling that it's really hard to reignite that spark because there's just a lot going on right now. But your first card there is the Eight of Swords. So this is your starting position, and some of you feel like you're rooted to the spot, or you've reached your limit in something. It can indicate that you're feeling a little bit stuck, or a little bit like restricted, shall we say. Maybe there's a bit of lethargy there, but I do see that you're in a period of transition, so we will tap into that. 8 is the number of the self, so it can indicate that some of you, you know, you are really kind of learning more about yourself, and you may feel a little bit isolated or withdrawn at this time, stuck in a certain circumstance that you're trying to break free from. So we will tap into that. We got Three of Swords there, so some sort of challenge. We got Ace of Wands. There's that spark. So, you know, the candle, it doesn't lie. Even the energy is there. You know, that Ace of Wands is suddenly reigniting that passion, that spark, or that inspiration. Maybe you feel something's been lacking there. I mean, the Three of Swords can also indicate that you have been going through a very tough time. You know, some of you, you're healing from something or trying to make peace with something in some way. Now, this can be something from your past. It doesn't always have to be something that you're going through right now. It can be that you are processing something in order to get closure. We have the Emperor there as well. It's in the past position, so this can indicate some level of structure. I'm loving that you've got two aces opposing here, so there is a brand new start here for you. New thoughts, new ideas, new kind of like pathways opening up for you. We've got the Queen of Cups. Interesting. So this could be a relationship as well, because there's two people here. It could be a friendship or a relationship, maybe even a past experience. And relationships, when I mention those, they don't have to be with romantic partners. They can be with parents, you know, guardians, friends, or people in your life where you feel things have been a bit challenging. How would you like to receive? Thank you so much. We have the Queen of Pentacles, a lot of people in your reading here. So we have the Death card there as well. Something may have changed. You may be evolving away from certain people in your circle. Maybe they have changed, or something within you has changed there. But let's take it piece by piece, because I feel, you know, these are aspects of self at this time. But I will clarify when I get to the end to see about people, because this reading is not really meant to be about people or, you know, circumstances outside of yourself. It's meant to be about you and how you're moving through this time period. So really, let's get to the crux of it. This is your starting position. It is your first card, the foundation, and you're feeling a bit fed up. You know, some of you could be feeling kind of like you've hit your limit, as I mentioned, on something. Now, this could transpire across the board. It could be that you're in a job, for example, and you feel like you've reached a plateau. Maybe you feel like you can't push through a glass ceiling. For some of you, it could be like a writer's block or an idea that you've had, but it's still sitting in the same place. Or some of you could be in a period of like analysis paralysis on something, where you just keep going round and round in circles on a thought or a fear, or, you know, with the Three of Swords here, something hurt. Some of you could even have been going through a period of grief, and you feel that you are like stuck or in a position where, you know, these feelings just go round and round in circles. Now, if you are someone who's going through a period of grieving, I'm sending you a huge hug out there. So much love. I mean, it is a process, of course, and I only mention it because we do have the Eight of Swords, the Three of Swords, and we've got the Death card there. So if some of you have, you know, been grieving a person, because we do have an Emperor energy in the past position. So this could represent someone who, you know, was always in your life, someone you looked up to, really respected, had a lot of time for this person. You know, I do see here that this person, they actually talk to you through signs. So they're not actually absent per se from your life. I feel like you're going to get a lot of signs and symbols from this person. I'm not being given anything in particular right now. If something comes up, I will mention it. But, you know, that Three of Swords, I feel for those of you who have been going through a period of grief, you know, I do see that you're in a healing process, and you're actually going to get lots of confirmation from Spirit that they're around. So ask for something really specific as a sign, and you actually will have it within the month, is what I'm being given here. So keep your eyes peeled. Again, if something comes up as a sign or symbol for you, I will mention it. But all I'm seeing right now, and actually it could be a sign, but I just feel energetically there's a hand reaching out, and it has a heart in the hand, and the heart is a flame. Okay, so this can indicate there's a lot of passion, a lot of, you know, unconditional love there for you. It doesn't have to be a romantic connection that you had with this person, but I just feel like there's a lot of like unconditional love, and it's almost like love continues. Love is still a light. It is still a flame. So please take it as it resonates, and with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to disconnect from that energy. For the majority energy that's got coming through, what I see here, because we have that Queen of Cups, some of you may be grieving a part of your old life, or perhaps some of you have been learning to adapt with a new way of living, or maybe even a new world or a new circumstance, because there's a lot of new energy here for you. Something is changing, but the Three of Swords can indicate challenge or difficulty. And I feel this card, you know, it is indicating here that some of you, there is this energy of being protected and redirected towards a better place, or some sort of opportunity for your highest good. But there may be like a temporary discomfort during this process or transition, because the Death card represents a transition. No matter who you are or what you're going through right now, I definitely see here that there is an indication that you've been going through a testing time, but you're coming out of that, because it is in the resistance position, which means, you know, in the upright, that is challenge, it is transformation, it is difficulty in some area. For some of you, suffering It can be. Again, I'm sending you a huge hug out there. So much love if you're going through something really challenging at this time. But with the card in this position, you also read the reverse, which is healing, recovery. I mean, for some of you, this could be that you're literally rooted to the spot because you are recovering from something. And, you know, it's stopped you in your tracks and you're having to recuperate, get back to best, which you will. I see there with that Eight of Cups. But rest is required. And sometimes when you're completely burnt out, the universe will send you something that stops you in your tracks. Okay, whether it's a seasonal cold or twisting an ankle or something like that, it's like slow down. So you may be given signs recently to slow down your pace, not be in a rush, to really kind of like sit with self. And, you know, so it could be like a new way of living, a lifestyle choice, or something that perhaps has challenged you to do something new or approach life in a different way that actually gives you more vitality, more energy. But, you know, this Three of Swords, it can indicate for some of you, because there's so many people here, for some of you, the Eight of Swords can indicate with this Three of Swords crossing that there has been some sort of miscommunication or argument or conflict within a group of people. And it's at a stalemate position. And, you know, I feel like you are kind of like trying to remove yourself, saying, I'm not getting involved in this, because you're very much apart from the energy. As you can see, the people are here, but you're like standing alone saying, you know what, I don't want to get involved. I feel like you want peace. You just want love. You want everybody to resolve something here. But at the same time, you may have tried to initiate some sort of conversation or some sort of like healing process, or try to put an end to this dynamic. Again, this is something outside of yourself. And I see that there will be healing from this, but it will take time. It does need a breath in order to open up to a dialogue that will lead to healing. You have the Three of Swords there in the resistance position, which means there will be healing, but in time. You cannot rush this, whatever this is, okay? So with a lot of love, I'm going to move away from energy, because, you know, this could also indicate with that Eight of Swords that some of you have been hurt in the past. You know, you're a warrior, you've been through some stuff, and it really made you mature. So whatever it is that you've gone through, I feel like you've been enduring a situation that perhaps has been causing a lot of challenge, or it's made you reflect, let's put it that way. And I feel like you're being really honest right now to almost like get closure on a situation and heal a part of yourself that has been in lament or, you know, grieving. So whether you've been grieving a part of yourself, or whether you've been grieving, you know, a certain period in your life, there is change here, but there is much more interesting things to come. I feel like this is not the end of your story, whatever it is that you're going through. This is only the beginning, is what is being shown here. You have an Ace of Wands, you have an Ace of Swords here. So you're very much on the precipice of change here, and it is beginning again, or starting from scratch in some way. And, you know, the Eight of Swords can also be of the mind. So this can be that sometimes, you know, we can tear ourselves down during moments of pressure or difficulty, and we get trapped in either thoughts of fear or restriction, or, you know, what is it that's haunting you from the past? This is a period to let go of it, to really get closure on it, so it no longer has power over you, because I feel like you're re-empowering yourself here. Doesn't mean that what happened in the past is not important, because it shaped who you are. Of course it's important, but there must be an acknowledgement that what is in the past is now an illusion. You know, I'm only mentioning illusions because the Eight of Swords is like a card that points to illusion, things that are not real right now. Now, it was real, but it doesn't exist anymore. It's something that you're past. You're kind of like, you know, dealing perhaps with the fallout of it or the consequences of it. But it is something that's in the past, and whilst it shaped you, it no longer holds power or weight over your future happiness. And that's why you get closure on something. So a lot of you could be in a period of releasing, letting go on something. I mean, for some of you, this is you like taking charge of your thoughts so that you don't tear yourself down. You actually build yourself up, a new way of thinking, a new mindset, to have more confidence in yourself, to love yourself in a different way. See how beautiful you are, both inside and out, and that you're lovable, even if you're in a relationship or not. That Queen of Cups energy is about you feeling fulfilled within yourself and knowing that you are lovable and that you are in a period of self-care and, that you are worthy of love as well and respect. So I feel a lot of you are healing yourself from something. Now, of course, for some of you, I cannot ignore the fact that the Emperor is there, and this can basically represent structure, okay, or governing bodies. And we've all been through some challenging years over the last couple of years. I mean, the world has always been challenging, but last couple of years it really felt like it was turned on its head in some way. And this could have damaged relationships or dynamics with friends. It may feel like some of the things that you used to love doing just don't hit in the same way, or perhaps the connections with people are strained or in some way just different, because I feel a lot of you, there is this energy of like something has changed or something is new, and it could be something related to a past structure or an event that was governed by people in charge, because that's literally what that represents: authoritative figures. For some of you, this could represent, something connected to your job, for example, or, perhaps there was some sort of change going on there where you're worried, you're nervous. Eight of Swords is worry, anxiety. Three of Swords, very cerebral cards. This can be pain or challenge, or, things are difficult right now. And whilst you're in a process of kind of like finding your way through it, the fact remains everything is different. You're different. Everything has changed from some point. So, whoever I'm picking up on, it doesn't have to be connected to what we've all gone through over the last couple of years. It could be something very personal to you, because it is number 8 as your starting card. So your personal circumstances, it feels like something happened that just stopped you in your tracks, and it feels like you've been in the same position ever since. Even though the world is like whirring around you, somehow you're stationary, or somehow you are stuck in a pattern of thought, either of memory or of sadness or lament, or for some of you, grief, or even like this energy of kind of tangible lament, if that makes sense. It's like you may have built a life for you and your family where you feel some things are changing in the world, that it could all just slip away, and it's like building in fear. So I'm just getting lots of energy off those two very cards, and I feel a lot of you, this is an energy of not allowing fear to rob you of happiness and joy, because I see your playful side coming out a little bit more. I feel, you're an open-hearted person and you're really fun to be with, but a lot of responsibility or some sort of structure of change or sadness has been thrust upon you, and it just feels like everything is hitting different right now, and it just feels like you're in a brand new world somehow and trying to make your way. So please apply it to your situation. This can transpire in many different ways. It could be like a new job, new area, new environment, new friends. I mean, some of you with that Eight of Swords, you're feeling alone. And again, I'm sending you a huge hug out there. Number one, I can feel a lot of your ancestors around you. So in effect, you're not alone. But for some of you, if you're feeling really isolated and sometimes lonely, sometimes we get into a period where we feel relationships are evolving and we're shifting and basically we're shedding. As you spiritually evolve, we actually notice that your and mine and everybody's social circle gets a little bit smaller. Okay, because you're really seeing through stuff. You're seeing through all the BS in life. You're seeing, that all that glitters is not gold. You're searching for deeper meaning. You're searching for like greater authenticity, and you're seeing beyond the superficial. So it can mean that you see things differently right now than other people, and you're just feeling really isolated in that, and you have a higher calling. But that doesn't change the fact that, sometimes an awakening can be very lonely, and sometimes a measure of success can also be very lonely. They always say it's lonely at the top. So with those two cards, I'm just picking up on energies where either you feel misunderstood, or you feel isolated in a circumstance, or you're just sitting with self right now to acknowledge some very challenging thoughts and emotions. I do see that things get infinitely better for you, and there is a cathartic experience here where you're letting go in order to not be free of the circumstance, but also not be just able to manage more of the same. Sometimes people think that healing is all about becoming strong, and you're definitely a very strong person, but some people think that it's just to become strong so you can be ready for more trauma or more challenge. But actually, sometimes healing, most importantly, is to help you open your heart once more, to be playful, to be curious about the world again. You know, it's hard to adult. Sometimes we have to acknowledge that the hardest thing is not to lose ourselves under this sense of responsibility, to really, you know, retain that sense of magic and that spark. And I feel a lot of you are trying to really grasp on or try to reconnect to that within yourself at this time. So the Ace of Wands there is that spark, that brilliance, that adventure. And I feel a lot of you are about to envisage something new for your future. This could be you embarking on a new way of living, or maybe there's a new experience coming in here for you. For some of you with that Page of Cups, it could be new love. You know, if you've had a previous experience where you've been brokenhearted and you've been isolated, Eight of Swords is a protective energy. You don't want to be hurt anymore. You don't want to get involved in an experience that could lead to pain. So, you know, as a protective measure, you put your guard up. So for some of you, you know, it can be that you're a little bit guarded right now based on your previous experiences, and new love is about to come into your life, and you're like, I'm ready to fall in love, but I'm scared. Or I'm nervous, or I'm just anxious, because you know that when you love hard, and it is unconditional as well. So you know what you're set to lose if people don't reciprocate in the same way. And also that's the same with the people you care about in your life, your family, your soul tribe members. You know, you are someone who has a lot of empathy, a lot of nurturing, and it really hurts you when people distance themselves, or, you know, caring too much can also be painful. And you have the Queen of Cups here with a lot of painful cards. So this can indicate to love a person, no matter who they are in your life, or to even like love a job, or love a dream, or love a neighborhood. Everything changes. And that's why it's so hard, because you care so much about everything that you connect to. And, you know, it really feels overwhelming sometimes. So I feel there is this energy of some of you looking at your sensitivity at this time, but don't ever change that level of sensitivity, because some people actually pay good money to go to counselors to be able to unlock that amount of sensitivity and that cathartic energy that helps us release. So that is actually your superpower. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you're too sensitive or you're too anything. Normally that means that they are not enough for you if they're trying to like downsize your feelings to accommodate theirs. So just watch out for that, okay? But this Ace of Wands, it indicates a transformation is upon you, okay? Now, a lot of you, this could be energy related. So some of you may feel that being in the same position is making you feel a bit bored or stuck. Eight of Swords can be stuck in a rut. Maybe you feel like you're in some sort of routine or repetitive cycle and you're seeking new things. These new things could be your passions, hobbies. It could be something that's exciting and new. A lot of you are wanting to do something different at this time and transform your life in some way. So this could be that, you know, you're embarking on a personal adventure. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to break out of a rut or break out of a cycle of repeat or a habit. We all get into a cycle of habit. Okay, whether that's like a structure or routine or a schedule or even a go-to quick fix when we're feeling stressed. Whatever it is, I feel like you're trying to break something here and start afresh. And I definitely see you're going to be able to do that, okay? A lot of you are trying to like romance your life a little bit more, reconnect to this sense of joy, fun, and for some of you, you know, I gotta address it, because it's there, okay? And I'm sending a huge hug out there, so much love. And this is not going to resonate with all of you, but it may, you know, basically connect to some of you, so I have to mention it. Eight of Swords can be rooted in the spot out of fear. And these could be thoughts, okay? And these thoughts, because we have the Death card in the hope and the fear position, some of you, you know, very anxious about the nature of death. You know, that is the one kind of thing in common that all us humans have. Eventually, you know, we walk this journey together home. So, you know, some of you, because you care so much about the people around you, that it's hard to let go, you know, and even through a process like death. So, you know, of course, we all have those moments of fears and anxieties, and some of us dwell on those things, and it can be the mind and the body almost preparing ourselves for one day. Not soon, I don't see anything negative here. The Death card is actually in the hope and a fear position, you know, so it can indicate that sometimes we fear losing our nearest and dearest because we care so much. But love lives on, and that's why that message probably came through earlier about, you know, your ancestors walk with you. they are around, but you may not see them in the physical form. And they're going to give you signs and symbols that there will be a moment where you reunite in the future, but like way, way in the future when it's your time, of course. So if you are grieving someone, I feel like, this person is waiting for you on the other side. So that's something that's coming through. And my readings are not normally about that, but that's come through and I had to honor this. So I would say, with that death energy, that, I don't see death around you. Okay, I want you to be aware of that. But some of you may have already gone through a grieving process. And, it can be something that's on your mind occasionally, especially those 3 a.m. thoughts or those moments where you're by yourself and you're thinking about the nature of loss and grief. And it makes you anxious about the people you really care about. But I see the people you really care about, they also care about you. And I see a lot of longevity in relationships. So no matter what age you are or what stage of life you're in here, I just see here, this new vitality, enjoying relationships and the people that you care about, and really like talking things out and being your honest, authentic self and decluttering life, basically, to cut out anything that does not bring you joy, because fear will basically rob you of joy. And that 8 of Swords can also be connected not just to the death card, it can be connected to like the structures of change around us in the world based on, governmental policies, rules, regulations, things that are beyond our control, okay? But I do see that you are safe in your position and that you are someone who is intuitive and you are adaptable, because you do have that Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands there, okay? So I'm going to move away from the energy because these are things, especially like structures outside of ourself. I want to bring it back to you and your energy. With this card in the past position, it tells me that you have a lot of responsibility. And some of you, especially because of that Page of Cups, you've had responsibility on your shoulders from a very young age. You may have had to grow up, way before your time. So I feel you are trying to rediscover that playful side, or even like release this sense of duty and responsibility so you can welcome more fun into your life. And for some of you, this could have been through trauma or just hardship, or, basically the experiences that you've had on your journey. But I do see a time of change upon you, and it's something that you're going to be very excited about, okay? You are a bright spark. You're so original, and I feel this is about you living your truth, but also accepting that, yeah, we've got responsibilities to pay the bills and do all the stuff, but, you can accommodate more fun things into life or find a balance so that you can welcome new experiences and new people in. And for some of you, if you are feeling isolated or lonely at this time, I actually see you getting more integrated into the community. There's actually I would say 2 solid people that you're going to identify as friends in your life that will be your ride or die when you meet these people. There's new people coming into your life. One person, they're very open. As soon as you meet this person, they literally like tell you everything, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot, because I feel like you're quite a private person. But actually you admire the fact that they are so open. There's nothing to hide about this person, and they're really kind of like true blue loyal friendship. And they're basically so open because they're like, this is my story and I own it, and these are the experiences I've had, and they've shaped who I am, and I'm not allowing them to derail my future happiness and my interconnectedness with other humans, because humans were meant to be very communal. We're meant to actually commune together and connect. And we're actually connected already by energy. But you're going to meet a person who is wonderfully open and wonderfully pure in their intentions. And their laugh is something that is actually contagious. And this person really helps you come out of your shell. So, even if you're like not looking for a new friend, I feel like you're still going to meet a new person who comes into your life and you're like, wow, they transform you in the way that you think about life, but also you transform them. Okay? And it is a reciprocal exchange. Now, for some of you, if you have been going through some challenging time, this could be through a group of people who have some sort of prior knowledge to something that you have gone through because they've gone through something similar. So that's something that's coming through there. But with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to disconnect from this energy because I see you're in a very cathartic time and you will move through this process and there will be joy once again. Okay, doesn't mean you're going to like forget about the past. Doesn't mean that you're not going to honor a person who perhaps has transitioned. I feel you're taking all of this into account, but recognizing that you must live on and that spark must return so that you can fly that flag and just enjoy the moment. So that's something that's coming through. But let's bring it back to the Emperor energy, because this is in the past position. So this can, be about structure. It can be about success and energy. So some of you may feel like you've had a measure of success or opportunity or even energy for some of you. And you may feel that right now you're very drained, or you're not sure how there seems to be so much to do and not enough time in the day. So I feel some of you could be looking at your energy levels at this moment in time, and the Emperor can represent, a person who is like medically trained to perhaps help you or has some sort of qualifications to identify what it is that's making you feel either low energy or robbed of joy. For some of you, this could actually be a hormonal thing, okay? And they may kind of offer you some sort of new practice or some sort of trial kind of remedy, shall we say, in order for you to see which one it is that you like. I feel like you may be offered two. One of them's really great, the other one not so much. So you may actually kind of trial both and see what works and then let the other go. But I do see that you will be feeling back to best there. But also the Emperor energy, it can be this kind of sense of protector. So it's almost like you feel like you've been called to be very protective over people and the people that you really care about, which of course is wonderful. Don't ever change that about yourself. But it has come with a lot of responsibility. And, I feel with that energy, it's almost, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, when we care so much, sometimes we hold on a little bit too tight, or we're a little bit strict with the way that we talk to each other. I'm just going to give you an example. So, for example, if anyone in my immediate family, or anyone really, feels a little bit unwell, for example, say if they've got a seasonal cold, and I say, oh, you need to take this, or I give them an opportunity to have something to help them. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'll take that. And then I find out that they didn't take it and they feel a little bit worse. I'll be like, I told you to do this. And I might forget myself for a moment and be a little bit strict in the way that I talk. And I don't mean it. I actually am someone who has a lot of compassion. If I do say so myself, you'd have to ask people around me, of course. But it's because I care that sometimes I get if I get worried, I get a little bit, not snappy, but I get a bit direct, okay? I get a little bit Emperor energy where I'm like, well, I told you to do this, and, I was offering it up as something to help you, but you didn't do it, and now you're worse, and now I'm worried about you, and it's making me frustrated. So, sometimes it's about the way we communicate our hopes and our fears, and I feel some of you are trying to look at the way you communicate your hopes and fears because you care so much. Especially if you're a parent, it can be that you want to guide your children, because you have a Page of Cups there, for example. It can be that you want to guide your children to, do life and make their own decisions and their own choices, but also offer advice without controlling. So, it can be that you're trying to measure a way of doing that. But, if you have, for example, a child who is in their teenage years with the Page of Cups energy, it can be frustrating, and you may feel like you've hit a plateau or a brick wall with something and you're not sure how to proceed, and you just feel that being strict with this situation is actually provoking challenge or hurt, and you just feel like, well, I don't know how to proceed now. So some of you, it could be that you're trying a new approach to a circumstance that you have found challenging. Okay, so I'm just giving that out if that makes sense. This is not going to resonate with everyone, of course, but it's something that's just popped out there as, you care so much because the opposing energies are the Emperor and the Queen of Cups. Your heart is so beautiful, so loving, so nurturing and supportive, but the Emperor is there, and it is kind of just after the Eight of Swords, which can be fear or anxiety. It's you're overprotective sometimes because you care so much. And this doesn't have to be just about people. It can be about a dream. It can be about a goal. It's you care so much, so you worry that it won't happen. Or, sometimes you feel anxious or anxiety because you feel that you should be further along. And it's because you care so much. You need to give yourself a little bit of a respite or a break and acknowledge that the energy is going to work with you and not against you. The more we push sometimes when the energy is not right, that's when we get the kind of clunkiness, shall we say. So I feel this is about like working with your energy, the ebb and flow. And I feel that, you know, things will kind of like rectify itself and there will be healing. So if you are going through a challenging situation with a person, whether it's a child or a circumstance or even a dream or a goal, because the Page of Cups can also to be following your heart on something, you will get an offer based on what it is that you desire. You'll also get some sort of an apology or a recognition from a person who knows that actually, you know what, your heart's in the right place. So, you know, if you're going through something like that right now, I feel like there is change and transformation, and it is for the positive, okay? Let's move on to the Ace of Swords, because this is in your potential position, and that's why I love it, because you've got the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords there, and this tells me that something new is afoot in your life, and maybe even that is making you feel a bit anxious. This could be like a change in your home space, or even like a change in yourself, and you feel like you want to change something outside of yourself, but you don't know where to start. Maybe this Ace of Swords are new ideas. You're going to see a lot of coincidences over the next coming weeks and months. Things that you think about, maybe even changing in your life. You know, say if you thought about 5 things and you thought, I'm going to change these 5 things, right? And you're not sure which one to start with first. Suddenly the universe is going to send you signs about one of them. And you're going to see the signs everywhere. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've just been thinking about changing this one thing. And the universe is sending me lots of signs about this one thing. Maybe that's the thing I need to focus on first. The universe is going to be talking to you a lot, because 2 aces from the universe indicate opportunities coming your way to transform your life, to reignite that spark, to have more adventure, connect to your vision, and really like aspire to something, but also accomplish it at the same time. Opportunities are coming your way. But also these cards, especially the Ace of Swords, can be that you are communicating yourself in a different way. You know, you are communicating from a healthy place rather than a place of fear. And also, you know, the Ace of Swords can be that if you're trying to work out how to come out of your funk or out of a comfort zone, or if you've hit a glass ceiling in some area of your life, you know, the Ace of Swords is suddenly you know what to do. Suddenly you're motivated. Suddenly you have the energy, the vitality, and you understand that you must act on something. You know, the 8 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, it can literally be that you have been locked to a spot in order to identify which step you take next in life. And now you're gathering information on something. And that 8 of Swords may have been your calling to stay still, to listen, to go inwards for your intuition, because that's what the 8 of Swords, the figure on the 8 of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, you know, she's standing rooted to the spot, and 8 swords surround her. They're protecting her in this time of going inwards for answers, because she's blindfolded. She actually is using her other senses, and most importantly, building in intuition. And this can be a period where you're just taking stock of things. And the 3 of Swords can be that there's something here that's on your mind to do. It's new, it's bold, it's daring, but it's hard. And you may be feeling, okay, you know what, it's challenging, but am I going to allow fear or challenge to keep me in the same spot or rooted to this very position where I don't move? Because the worst thing is to like feel like you should be doing something or moving or making a difference or transforming in some way, and you just can't. So with the Ace of Swords, it's like now is the time of action. Now is the time to move forward. Put that one foot forward on something that you feel intuitively is your next move, whatever that is. So, you know, it can be anything at all, whatever this new energy is. The Ace of Swords is supporting this change and helping you. And, you know, it's going to happen for your highest good. And when you decide to make that first step, everything is going to happen really quickly. Okay. Now, in the next 6 weeks, we've got the Queen of Cups. This is you. This is about you prioritizing your own needs. This is about you thinking differently about yourself, implementing self-care routines, and really tapping into your emotions and actually honoring your emotions. You know, because we have an Emperor here and the Queen of Cups and the 8 of Swords, some of you may be looking back at the past, either at a very strict parent or guardian who told you that, you know what, emotions are for weak people, or, you know, don't cry about that, just be strong. You know, it can be that you've been told when you were younger a certain narrative that almost like kept you rooted to the spot emotionally. But now is the time for you to re-empower yourself and realize that that's not your narrative. Your narrative is for you to be a fully feeling person where you release emotions, where you let it ebb and flow, where you honor the fact that you're a very sensitive person because that's who you are. That's how you're built. That's how you were meant to come to this lifetime. Honor that. So I feel there's a lot of respect around yourself here, but also a respect for generations, because each generation had a different kind of structure or a different way of life. Okay, so if you think back to like many different generations ago where certain like family structures, shall we say, were quite strict. You know, children were meant to get a dowry. They were meant to earn money for the family to keep things ticking over, this sense of legacy, but also to marry into certain generations in order to build wealth, or, you know, exchange cattle, for example, or, you know, go out there and somehow help the household. But now there's a much more kind of like different view on family units and things like that. So I feel some of you may be looking back at generations like parents or guardians or grandparents and, you know, looking at the way that they were brought up and how they were made to feel about family relationships and all of those things, and now how you feel about family relationships and how you are conducting yourself within these relationships. So I feel some of you could be looking at like family patterns or even breaking a cycle, like a generational wounding cycle for some of you, and that's been a challenge in itself, and that's what sees you as being very, very strong person, okay? But the Queen of Cups can also indicate that you're realizing that you're a gift, that there's something special about you, that you're a healer, that you're a friend, not only to the people around you, you're always giving unconditional love and an opportunity to support people, but also that, you know, you need to be a best friend to yourself as well and not tear yourself down. And the right people are going to stay by your side. So this is a card that highlights you're worthy of love and respect. And some of you, of course, this is a healing card along with the Three of Swords there in the position that it's in, because the reverse of it is like a recovery or a healing and you getting back to best. And really, for some of you, this is you reigniting your spark and feeling like your old self again. Now, of course, we have the advice to yourself in this moment. We've got the Knight of Pentacles, to be secure, to be safe. But the Knight of Pentacles actually is the only knight in the deck where the horse does not move. Okay, so it can be that you are called to be in this position right now to reflect on your stability, to build in wealth, for example, for some of you. This can be to work hard, whether this is in terms of self-development or in terms of a job, or if you're retired, for example, because the Emperor can indicate some of you are mature and, you know, you're looking at new things to keep things interesting. You're focused on your sense of purpose, your projects, maybe grandchildren for some of you. If not, it can be, you know, you getting involved in the community so that you don't feel so isolated, especially if your friends or family have not retired at the same time as you. So it can be that you are in a position right now where you are working hard to make life work and you're dedicated to something, but also whatever it is that you're doing, it is going to work out for your highest good. And, you know, this is you kind of like dedicating yourself to something that will have a payoff. You're practical. You know, so this can be that if you're investing in self, you're going to see more confidence within yourself, feeling of like emotional security, or, you know, loving yourself a little bit harder. It can indicate that you will see the nature of the transformation. But also, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, as I mentioned, is stable. You know, you basically, your advice to yourself is to be stable, to protect your finances, you know, to look at people in your life and see who's trustworthy, that you can, you know, really connect to. This is about you connecting to your values and, you know, also to honoring your body, mind and soul, because this is a body card as well. So it can also indicate that you've been through some challenges, but you're still standing and you're someone who is enduring quite a lot, but also I see transformation that is really positive about you, and you've got this, whatever this is, okay? Now also, with the Queen of Pentacles as the circumstances outside of yourself, as I mentioned, there's a lot of people in your energy, but this is an indication of different aspects of self. And the Queen of Pentacles can indicate that you think a lot about your family or your nearest and dearest. You know, everything you do is based on making sure that they're okay as well. So you could have a lot of responsibility. Some of you may be a carer for a family member, or, you know, you are always making sure they're okay. And, you know, there's a lot of love there, but there's also duty there as well. And you're trying to balance the two and make sure that you don't lose a part of yourself, and that you also try and, you know, connect to some fun things for yourself, and also give back to yourself as well. But the Queen of Pentacles, it can indicate that, you know, you're someone who is committed to people that you let into your life, but you're also committed to something that will flourish and grow. You know, this is actually a card of abundance, you know, of comfort. So I see a lot of you protecting your finances if you're like currently worried about finances, because of course, economically, things have been very challenging. Some of you, especially if you're retired, or even if you're thinking about retirement, you may be looking at your 401ks and seeing that there is a fluctuation in the market. And I did mention in my yearlies, and I said that there was going to be a very volatile kind of like up and down roller coaster kind of energy. And we've already seen that, and there will be more, okay? But I do see that there will be some plateaus going on there where things will balance out. And I do see in your reading here that there is stability. You know, actually, if you look at your cards, you're going from a Knight of Pentacles to a Queen of Pentacles. The universe will make sure that you have enough, and you've worked really hard for this. Anyway, you know, this is a card of multiplying wealth, or even conserving your wealth, like being really savvy with your finances so that you protect them, or you don't take any risks with them. You know, that's what I'm seeing there as well. But ultimately, the Queen of Pentacles is someone who is focused on the home space, focused on earthy things, you know, working with your body, mind, and soul, choosing healthier options, being generous with your time, with the people that you really care about, being interested in people, you know, but also loving home comforts. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually see a lot of you are focused on that at this time, and you're secure in that. But some of you, if you're noticing that there's changes in your neighborhood or your district or your state or country, for example, you may be having conversations right now with your nearest and dearest about traveling overseas or going to new far off places. And these just could be conversations right now, and that may have made you feel a bit nervous or worried about the future. But actually, I see that you're secure, and actually wherever it is you decide to go, if this is something that you're having as a conversation right now with your family, I feel like you're going to love it. Okay, I really feel like you're going to thrive there. That's something that's coming out there too. Now, this is circumstances outside of yourself. So this tends to mean that, you know, there is a friend that you have, someone who is loyal to you. And if you haven't met this person just yet, you're going to meet this person. As I mentioned, you know, they're really the salt of the earth kind of person who's just there for you. You could call this person at 3 a.m. and say, hey, look, I need some help. Or, you know, do you have any coffee or whatever it is at 3 a.m. This person would be like, I'm there. Consider it done. They would be there, okay? And I feel this is a reflection of who you are. You're meeting someone who gives back in the same way. And this could also be in terms of a relationship as well. But right now I'm seeing it in terms of a friendship. So I want you to be aware of that. Okay. Now, the hope and a fear position, we have the Death card. And this, as I mentioned, you know, this is not like in your near future position, and it's not in the outcome position. It's the hope and a fear. So we've already sort of covered the death element of this card, but also this is change. So some of you may be like fearing change, and you have two aces here. So big change is afoot. You may be trying to make some changes, but also the universe wants you to change, or there's something coming in here that will actually be quite a quick change for you. And for some of you, as I said, it will transpire in different ways. Could be a change of neighborhood, could be a change of job, could be a change of your single status, for example, or it could be a change in your neighborhood, or, you know, whatever it is. I feel like you've got this, you're flexible, and actually this change benefits you long term. So the Death card, you know, I'm a water element as well, and Cancerians, you're very fluid, because the water element is about adapting to currents and also to being open to be reshaped or redirected according to the landscape of the time. So you're not going to be stuck. Intuitively, you're someone who is naturally very good at being flexible, right? But you know, water elements, we don't like to change unless we're in charge of the change. And at the Eight of Swords position, it can indicate that you feel like you're not in control of a change, or you're worried about changes or future changes, you know. And I feel with that death card, it's also in the resistance position because of the position it's in. And this in its position is to feel stuck. So the worst thing, the fear, is to feel stuck. But some of you with that Eight of Swords, it can be that you're feeling worried that you're stuck right now. So it can be that embracing change will set you free. And I feel that's something that you will be embracing. And a lot of you, you're doing it yourself, but also the universe is giving you a little extra helping hand there as well. So I do see that change is afoot for you. It's nothing to worry about. And, you know, this card, because it's in the resistance position, it can literally mean that you are kind of like resisting something, or you have been protecting yourself against something that you know you need to change. For some of you, it could also be you're obsessing over something like change, and you know it's only keeping you rooted to the spot. Fear, as I mentioned, will rob you of joy. There's no need to obsess over anything or try and control a situation. The one constant in life for humans is change, and we all know that. But this change is going to benefit you, and you're going to love it because the universe is offering you an opportunity to connect to your desires or follow your heart or do something that you love, and there'll always be enough money. There'll always be enough opportunity. There'll always be security. You'll always find your way. You know, this is circumstances outside of yourself. This is what the universe says. I will secure your position. I will keep you safe. I am nurturing you at this time. You will be conserved, and you will, you know, be protected. So I want you to be aware of that. And also I see this energy of you being capable of something so radical as change. I'm actually being given a song right now, so maybe this is relevant. It's a very famous song by Iggy Pop. I think it's just called Wild Side, or yeah, what I'm being given is, oh yeah, I'm a wild one. I'm a real wild child. Maybe it's called Wild Child. I'm not sure what the actual name of the song is called, but I definitely know it's Iggy Pop, and they're the lyrics that are coming out. So this could be you like feeling a bit stuck or bored in your circumstances and really in need of some inspiration and really wanting to tap into your wild side. Perhaps that's what you feel like as you mature. You may feel those aspects of self are diminishing or put on hold, or you're not able to access that side of yourself because you have so much responsibility and duty. But I definitely see here that you're going to be like cutting loose and being fancy free here. And I feel change actually gives you an opportunity to break an old habit or release yourself from that which is hindering you at this time. So I see this card as really positive because the hope is to break free from something. And it could be that some of you are literally breaking free from substances or people or, you know, circumstances that have hurt you. A lot of you, you know, this could be a period of review because 8 is the number of the self. And when you go into a period of review, you start to really look at the things that you're accepting and say, this has been going on a long time and it really hurts. Or I'm not being valued here, or I'm not being respected, or I don't want to feel this way anymore. And you're taking control here in a way where you're empowering yourself and you're acknowledging that you can literally cut out anything that has been hurting you. You can move away from circumstances or people or situations that have brought you down or kept you stuck in a rut. So I feel like you're basically deciding to transform, because whatever we do not change, we accept. And I see that you're not accepting anything anymore. In fact, I see these 2 aces as lines in the sand on this painful situation or this sadness. And the outcome is the Page of Cups, which is super positive. It means you're going to be offered something that you really love, but also this is your playful side coming out. This is you being curious about the world again. It's about you breaking free from something. It's about you kind of like opening up to intimacy or even romancing your life a little bit more, where you're like, this is what I love. I don't want to be stuck in one spot. I want to like have variety. It is the spice of life. So I see a lot of new things coming in here for you. And, you know, the Page of Cups energy, it can be that, you know, you have a deep understanding. You're very artistic, very sensitive. And actually you could channel all of that into like creative endeavors like artwork and poetry, writing a book or a screenplay, or, you know, expressing yourself in a different way. And I feel this is about you acknowledging that your sensitivity is a blessing rather than a curse. It may have at some point felt like a curse, but actually I feel it's a blessing for you. And you are someone who is here to feel. Now, for some of you looking at this energy, because we have the Pentacles, especially the Queen of Pentacles, it can be that you've been having issues trying to conceive. You know, this is a child energy here as well. So it can be that you're always like in the same position, and there's a bit of a transformation here. So I feel there is a potential for change where some of you may actually find out that you're pregnant. So it could be a surprise, a nice surprise there that's coming through. It may have that you come into contact with a new practitioner or some sort of new technology that helps you conceive in some way. So that can be something that's popping out there as well. But again, that's something that not all of you will be going through. This Page of Cups, for the majority of you, is this energy of tapping into the inner child, the youthful side of you. You do not look your age, okay? Yes, we're all maturing, but you are still that playful, curious, bright spark inside. And life sometimes tries to tear us down or make us feel stuck in a rut or thrust so much responsibility on us or even keep us stuck in fear. But you're not allowing that to happen. And I feel like you're rising up there and saying, this is who I am. I like to have fun. I like to do all of this stuff. And I feel this is the pleasure-loving side of yourself, the imaginative side coming out here. It's almost like an invitation from the universe to kind of like, as I said, romance your life a little bit more. So you're going to have more vitality, more energy. This youthful kind of like side of yourself is coming out, and these are different aspects of self right now, and whatever it is, I feel like you're not remaining stuck, and I feel like you're not allowing fear to keep you rooted to the spot either. So I'm just going to go and get some final cards. As I mentioned, these readings are quite unique. They may not resonate with everyone, but I have to honor the cards that pop out. Yeah, look at that. Expect change in your home space. Okay, so I feel for some of you there is change in the home, whether that's you moving to a different neighborhood or a different country. I definitely see here that it's a positive one. The card even says there may be a new household member. Okay, so perhaps some of you, this could be news of a family member having a child after finding it very difficult to conceive, for example. So we've got... Oh, my guys want me to go one more, so I will. Oops. They have to pop out. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Cancerians? Anything more they need to be aware of at this time? Can you please show them the way? Okay. So, we have TP house, okay? So this is all about your home, where you feel like home is as well. And it says here, expect a change in your home, a move, or a new household member. Retreat and relax, family and belonging. So this is all about, who you are, where you feel like you belong. There's definitely some new energy going on here. It's not going to threaten your security in any shape or form, this new change. So even if you are moving to a new home, some of you, the final goodbye as well. As I mentioned earlier, you may be closing like a chapter of your life and moving on somewhere else. But, I feel this is a positive step for you. It says here, it's time to permanently close this chapter in your life. No second chances, not for you, and close path. So even if you feel like you've had a setback, sometimes the universe will send, a no. Because it's not really a setback, it's a redirection towards something greater. And sometimes it's there to protect you from something that could have been more challenging. So I feel like you are definitely getting closure on something, cathartically letting something go, but I feel like you're moving on to something even greater, okay? Now we have the snake. Okay, now it says here, beware of hidden snakes that pretend to be harmless. Secret enemies, rival, fake friends. So I did mention that, there may be some sort of challenging dynamic that perhaps can be healed in the future, but I do see that you may be kind of like not wanting to get involved in this. It feels like you're trying to remove yourself from this. Also, I don't see any fake friends energy here, but because we have the Death card energy and we got the Emperor in the past position, it can indicate that you're phasing out a relationship, or you're noticing that you've evolved from a friendship because you're seeing more authentically and you just feel that this person has not been true blue, okay? There's a lot of change here, but also this is the year of the snake, and it means that we're seeing things that perhaps we couldn't see before. Our eyes are being opened. We also have Confidence. Your success will be determined by your own confidence, self-image, loving yourself, outlook, and believing. So I did mention your confidence will grow and that you're in a period of self-care at this moment in time. And this will filter out into the rest of your life, whether it's to do with success or, success in relationships, friendships, love, jobs, whatever it is, it's going to transfer. What you feel inside will actually filter out outside. And finally, we have you already possess everything necessary to become great. I mean, you're already great, my beautiful Cancerians, but it may have taken you a long time to acknowledge this within yourself, okay? So I'm just going to get a final trinket or rune before we close. We have, ooh, what is this? So we have a raven with a rose, okay? So this can indicate a romantic message if you're single, but also it can indicate a message being delivered to you from spirit or your guides regarding personal development and growth, okay? But there is a positive message, some good news being offered to you. Page of Cups indicates news that you love. Pages are always news, but I don't really want to tap into anything outside of yourself in this reading. But what I see with this trinket, it may coincide. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. The 25th of April may be important to you. And what I'm seeing is Saturn and Venus and the crescent moon. It occurs on the 25th, actually. It's very funny. It's going to look like a little bit of a smiley face in the sky. I hope I'm right on the planets. I think it is Saturn and Venus. And yeah, there's a crescent moon. And if you look at it from a certain angle, it's going to look like a little smiley in the sky. And my guides are giving that to me with this trinket. So there may be some good news on the 25th of April. Okay, so just look out for that. Or maybe there is some good news just after that. It coincides with that sort of celestial alignment. Okay, and finally, the last trinket is the ship. So you're on a journey of self-discovery, but also some of you could be literally going overseas, or you're moving somewhere, or this could be like movement and improvement in your life. The ship always represents your personal journey of discovery. And I feel like you're on the right path to everything that you desire. But also, when you think about the nature of the ship, whenever the winds change, you don't go against the wind, you adjust the sails. So I feel if you've been going through a challenging time, it can be that you've been going through a period of adjustment. You're adjusting your sails and you're going with it. And that's going to lead you to everything that you desire. You're working with the energies. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates in that reading for someone out there, because of course it's very complex and may not resonate with everyone, but I have to honor the reading. So I hope something does resonate. And thank you so much, my beautiful Cancerians, and love and light.